Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Thursday, February the 7th, and welcome to our video commentary. Well, I don't know how to describe what is happening in Virginia. You can say it's crazy, you can say it's hilarious, maybe there's another word I cannot think of. But the top three elected officials, who happen to be Democrat at the moment, in Virginia, are involved in some kind of a scandal. The governor, first of all, he got in trouble for his late term abortion remarks. Then they found this picture in his yearbook. Then the attorney general, who would become the governor in the event that the governor were to resign, now he's involved in some allegations of sexual assault. And the woman is even coming out publicly and giving out some details. Now you have the attorney general, who's number three in the chain of command, if you will. Now he came out and said, yeah, back in 1980, I had one of those pictures too in my photo. So the whole thing is sort of somewhere between comical and tragic. I mean, somewhere in between, I think, maybe a little bit of both. Now, I actually think that what we're watching in many ways is the consequence of what happened to Judge Kavanaugh during his nomination hearings. You may remember that when Judge Kavanaugh was nominated for the Supreme Court, he went through the hearings and they couldn't lay a glove on him. Kavanaugh did a fantastic job. He answered the questions. They couldn't touch him because Kavanaugh is such a brilliant judge. I mean, they just couldn't touch him. The Democrats threw everything they had him. They couldn't touch him. So at the last minute, in a total act of desperation, they found this lady, Dr. Ford, who was accusing Judge Kavanaugh of a sexual assault 36 years ago when the young woman was 15 and Kavanaugh was 16. And this is what started that whole scandal, that whole controversy. They brought in the lady to the Senate hearings and the whole thing, as you may remember, became the talk of the town for several days. And then after that, Democrat senators like Sheldon Whitehouse of Rhode Island began, looking through the judge's yearbook when he was 16 years old, looking through his yearbook, asking him questions about this post and that post. And the whole thing became a travesty. Now, eventually, of course, Judge Kavanaugh was added to the Supreme Court, and I'm very happy that he was. But this, of course, opened a whole new episode in American politics where now you can go back to pictures and postings 35, 40 years ago and somehow bring them into the current political debate. Now, let me tell you that I personally, I find this whole thing horrific. I think the idea that you go back 35 years or 30 years and you look at what somebody wrote in a yearbook or what someone posted or a photograph in your yearbook, I think the whole thing is horrific. We shouldn't be doing this to ourselves. We should give people the space to be young people and make mistakes. I mean, that's the way it goes. And to sit there and say, well, when you were 16, you wrote this in your yearbook, therefore you're not qualified to go to the Supreme Court when you're 52 years old, I just think that's insane. But that's where we are. And we are where we are because the Democrats created this. The Democrats were the one who created this political standard, and now it's coming back to bite them. And it's biting them pretty bad. In Virginia, you're also seeing it was Elizabeth Warren, who was playing identity politics, and she really got caught lying about her ethnic background. So we are where we are, and there's not much we can do about it. But I think it would be kind of nice if common sense were to come back into our politics, and we could at least have an understanding between both sides that anything you did in high school, anything you did in college, we're just not going to hold it against you. We're just going to forget about it. In fact, we're not even going to bring it up. Now, the media would help a great deal on this, of course, if the media would also practice that. They used to at one time. Remember, nobody brought up any of the things that Obama did when he was in college. Nobody certainly brought up a lot of the things that John Kennedy did or the allegations when he was a young man. So, these are things that, as I say, as a Republican, I would like to see both sides have a little bit more common sense. And let's drop this stuff about going back 30 years, 20 years. It's completely irrelevant. And it just makes our politics look pretty bad, frankly, pretty bad. Well, I don't know what's going to happen in Virginia, but if all three Democrats go down, the next guy in line is the Republican Speaker of the House. That's pretty incredible, to say the least. Well, thank you for watching. We have all of these on YouTube, we have them on Twitter, and we have them on my blog. And if today is your birthday, happy birthday. Bye-bye, everybody.